He lived alone in the frozen woods, no neighbors, no past. Until a knock shattered everything. Outside stood an alien widow barefoot, trembling, holding something strange that glowed like a dying star. "Please," she whispered. "My children won't survive the night without you." He should have slammed the door. He should have walked away. But he didn't, and that one choice pulled him into a war he didn't understand. With 2 half-alien babies, bounty hunters, and a bond that no human was ever meant to carry. This isn't just a rescue. It's a fight for something no one thought possible: family. Now, let us go to the place where dust, sacrifice, and destiny first collided, where the story truly begins. The night was cold and quiet. Snow fell gently outside Tom's cabin, covering the forest in white silence. Tom sat near his small heater, holding a hot mug of tea. He lived alone, far from the cities, far from trouble. That's how he liked it. He didn't expect visitors, especially not after midnight. But then knock knock. The sound echoed sharply through the wooden cabin. Tom froze. He looked at the door. No one ever came here. Not this late, not during winter. Another knock. Louder, slower. He stood up slowly, heart beating faster. He grabbed the old shotgun by the wall, just in case. "Who's there?" he called out. No answer, just the wind and the snow. He opened the door, and there she stood. A woman, but not human. She was tall, thin, and trembling. Her skin was pale purple, glowing softly under the moonlight. Her eyes were wide, silver, and full of fear. She wore a thin cloak that barely covered her shoulders. Snowflakes stuck to her hair, long white and wet. Tom didn't speak. He had never seen an alien this close. He had only seen them on news screens. They didn't come to this side of Earth anymore. Most humans didn't want them here. But this one was here. And she looked like she was dying. She opened her mouth. Her voice was soft, shaking. "Please, please help me." Tom didn't lower the gun. "Who are you?" "My name is Mira," she whispered, almost falling. I lost my people. I have nowhere to go. You need help?" She nodded slowly. Then her knees gave out. Tom rushed forward and caught her before she hit the ground. Her skin was ice cold. Her breathing was weak. He looked around. No ships, no tracks in the snow, just her. She was alone. He brought her inside. He laid her on the couch, wrapped her in a thick blanket, and turned the heater higher. He stared at her for a long time. She looked peaceful now, but tired. Her face was thin, and her hands held something tightly. It was a small orb, metal, glowing faintly blue. "What's this?" he whispered. The orb beeped quietly. He touched it. The top opened. Inside were 2 tiny creatures, smaller than human babies. They looked part human, part alien. Their eyes were closed. Their bodies were curled up together, breathing lightly. Tom stepped back. His heart jumped. "What the hell?" The woman stirred. "My children," she whispered. "They are half human, half me." Tom didn't understand. How? Why? "I don't have time," Mira said, her voice cracking. "They are sick. They need warmth, human warmth. Please." I had no one else to turn to. I followed the signal. You were the only one nearby. Tom stared at her, then at the small children inside the orb. They were quiet. Still breathing, barely. "You need a hospital," he said. "No," she said quickly. "If the government finds us, they'll take them. They'll take me. We were part of a test. It failed. They don't want us alive." Tom stepped back. "You brought danger to my door." Mira tried to sit up. She looked at him with tears in her silver eyes. "I had no choice," she said. "I don't want your help if it puts you in danger. But if you send me away, my babies will die in the snow." Tom stood in silence. The fire cracked softly. Outside, the snow kept falling. He looked at the two small lives inside the glowing orb. They looked peaceful, innocent, not a threat, just helpless. He sighed. "I'll let you stay," he said. "Just for the night." Mira closed her eyes. Her lips trembled. "Thank you," she whispered. Tom sat back down, shotgun beside him, eyes never leaving her or the orb. He didn't know who she really was. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but something deep inside told him. This night had changed everything. Tom didn't sleep that night. He sat on the floor near the couch, shotgun resting by his knee. Eyes fixed on the glowing orb and the alien woman wrapped in his blanket. The storm outside howled louder now, but the sound of it faded compared to the silence inside the cabin. And then the orb beeped again. Tom leaned closer. A small crack opened on its surface and warm steam rose from within. He saw the two tiny alien infants shift slightly. One of them opened a small eye silver like their mother's. The other made a soft, chirping sound. He jumped a little. It was like hearing a newborn cry for the first time. Then Mira stirred. She sat up slowly, holding her chest. Her voice was weak, but firm. "They're waking," she said. Tom glanced at her. "What are they?" "They're mine," she whispered, eyes locked on the orb. "And yours." Tom blinked. "What?" She didn't look at him. "Not by blood, but by law. My species, when a male saves the life of a mother and her young, he is recognized as a protector, a mate. It's part of the old codes." Tom shook his head. "I didn't agree to that." "I know," she said quietly, "but the bond has already begun. The moment you brought us inside." He stood up and stepped back. "Listen, I'm not looking to be a father. I just wanted to help." Mira nodded. "I understand. But help, in my world, carries weight. We don't take kindness lightly." Tom looked again at the orb. The babies were blinking now, slowly. Their skin was light lavender, soft like flower petals. One of them had small brown strands of her almost human. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. "How are they even alive?" he asked. Mira hesitated. Then she pulled out a thin crystal chip from her sleeve and slid it across the table. Tom picked it up. "It holds their record," she said. "Medical files, DNA, test logs. We were part of a government experiment, chosen to carry hybrids. But when the project was shut down, they tried to erase us." Tom looked at her, confused. "Why?" "Because it worked." She wiped a tear from her cheek. "My people feared humans. And humans feared us. But something inside me accepted the genes. These children are proof that our species can blend, can grow together." Tom sat down slowly. "So you're telling me someone made these kids? Like, on purpose?" "Yes, and now they want them gone. Because they're not supposed to exist." Tom exhaled slowly. His cabin felt smaller now, like the walls were listening. Mira leaned forward. "I didn't run because I was scared. I ran because I wanted them to live. I didn't know where else to go. I only followed the last signal on the escape pod. It led me to your cabin." He stared at the chip, then at the babies. "So, what now?" Mira looked tired. Her hands trembled. "If they stay cold, they'll fade. Their hybrid bodies need warmth, human warmth. That's why I asked for a mate. Not for me, but for them." Tom scratched his beard. "So you're saying they'll live if I stay near?" "Yes," she said. "Your presence, your human energy keeps them stable. It's biological." Tom laughed nervously. "Great, I'm a space heater." Mira smiled faintly. Suddenly, the cabin lights flickered, then a small click. Tom's hand went to the shotgun, fast. "What was that?" he whispered. Mira's smile vanished. Tom moved to the window. He pulled back the curtain slightly. Nothing but trees. But then he noticed a red light blinking on a tree trunk. He froze. "That's a drone," he said. "Military scan drone. Someone's looking for you." Mira stood, eyes wide. "They found us." Tom cursed under his breath. "We have to move." "No," Mira said firmly. "We can't. If we move the orb now, it could destabilize their core. They'll die." Tom looked at the blinking red light outside, then back at the glowing orb. 2 tiny lives. 1 alien mother, a freezing cabin, and now hunters. He turned back to Mira. "Then we fight," he said. The next morning, Tom wrapped Mira in one of his old coats and drove her to town. He had to lie to the doctor, said she was a traveler who got lost in the storm. They didn't ask much. Most folks didn't ask questions about Tom. He liked it that way. But this time, things felt different. Eyes followed him. Whispers started. By the time they stepped out of the clinic, 3 people had taken photos. One man even crossed the street just to stare at Mira. Tom didn't like it. Back at the cabin, things were quiet. The orb glowed steady now, and the infant slept safely in the corner near the heat vent. Mira sat beside them like a statue. She barely spoke. Tom made food. She didn't eat much. He could feel the tension in the air, like the storm outside hadn't really passed. It's changed shape. That evening, the whispers reached his door. A note was nailed to his fence post. It read, "Aliens don't belong here." Next to it, a dead fox cut and left on purpose. Tom burned the note and buried the fox. He didn't tell Mira, but she already knew. "I heard the whispers in town," she said softly. "They hate me. They're scared," Tom replied. "That's different." "No," she said. "Fear and hate. They're cousins." "In my world, fear always wins first." Tom didn't have an answer. That night, Mira asked him something strange. "Do you believe in soul bonds?" He raised an eyebrow. "What kind of question is that?" "In my culture," she whispered, "if someone protects you, it's more than once. A thread forms. A bond, it can't be seen, but it grows stronger with each act." Tom leaned back. "Sounds like a myth," she smiled. "Maybe. Or maybe humans forgot such things a long time ago." They sat in silence. Then the power cut out. The lights flickered and died. Tom stood up fast, grabbed his flashlight, and checked the breakers. Nothing. Then he heard it, a soft hum, mechanical. Nearby, he opened the front door and stepped outside. The snow had stopped falling, but the ground sparkled under the moonlight. Just ahead, near the tree line, something hovered. A drone, round, black, no bigger than a basketball. Its red eye blinked slowly. Watching, Tom aimed his shotgun. The drone zipped higher and vanished. He cursed. Too late. When he returned inside, Mira already knew. "They'll come," she said. "Drones don't scout alone." Tom nodded. "I'll make sure we're ready." The next morning, things got worse. He went to the town's small store to grab supplies. People stared harder this time. The store clerk, Bill, who had always been kind, didn't speak a word. Just rang up the food with a stiff face. On his way out, 2 men followed him to the truck. "Tom," one said, "you brought that alien here." Tom didn't answer. "She got no business near our homes. People are worried. You're gonna bring trouble down on all of us." Tom looked at them both, calm but firm. "She's not here to hurt anyone." "Don't matter," the second man growled. "That kind of thing don't belong. You understand?" Tom got in the truck without a word and drove off, but something cracked inside him. These were men he knew. Men he'd shared meals with, fixed their cars, helped during storms. But now, because of one alien woman and 2 small infants, they looked at him like he was a stranger. Back at the cabin, Mira met him at the door. "They're getting stronger," she said softly, pointing to the orb. "They can sense you now. They respond to your presence." Tom set the supplies down. "Good," he said, "because if this keeps going, they'll need to survive without me." Mira's eyes widened. What do you mean? Tom walked to the window and looked out. 2 sets of fresh footprints had followed him from the main road. They're coming, he said quietly. And I daren't know if we'll make it through the next few days. Mira walked to his side and placed a trembling hand on his arm. You don't have to protect us, she whispered. I know, Tom said. But I will. And somewhere behind them, the orb pulsed softly, like it understood. Snow covered the cabin roof like a quiet blanket, but inside, tension moved like fire. Tom sharpened a knife at the table, checking traps and old gear. Mira watched him silently, her silver eyes glowing faintly. She finally spoke. You cannot win against them, she whispered. Tom kept working. Maybe, but I won't let them take you. Or the kids. Mira looked down at the glowing orb near the heater. The 2 infants were awake, now tiny eyes blinking softly, tiny hands moving when Tom walked past, like they recognized something inside him. A strange warmth spread through the room whenever he stood near. Mira felt it too. It has already started, she said. What? Tom asked, still sharpening. The bond, she whispered. He stopped and looked at her. You've mentioned that before. She nodded slowly. In my culture, when a male protects a mother and her children, even without promise or desire, a life thread forms. A bond beyond law. Tom frowned. I didn't agree to anything. You don't have to. The bond doesn't ask. It grows naturally. Her voice softened. And it grows stronger every time you choose us. Tom sat down, rubbing his forehead. Mira, I didn't protect you because of culture or bonds. I did it because it felt right. That is exactly why the bond formed, she said quietly. The room went silent. Then a loud thud outside. Tom stood immediately, grabbed his shotgun, and moved to the window. Footprints, fresh, deep. Someone had been watching the cabin. He scanned the tree line, but no one was there now. Snowflakes drifted gently, erasing the tracks 1 minute at a time. When he returned inside, Mira stood, holding the orb with both hands. We cannot stay, she whispered. If we move now, the babies might die from the cold, Tom said. Their bodies are still adjusting. Mira shook her head. Then there is only one path left. She placed the orb back on the floor and stepped closer to Tom. For the children to survive. For the bond to complete. You must become my protector by right, not by accident. Tom blinked. Protector by right. What does that mean? She held out her hand. Our kind seal protection through energy sharing. It strengthens both parents. It protects the young. It connects hearts. He swallowed hard. Sounds like a marriage. In your words? Yes. She looked away. But without romance, without expectation. It is survival. For them, Tom looked at the orb again. The infants were trembling now, as if sensing danger in the air. Will it save them? He asked quietly. Yes, she whispered. And it will make you part of their life circle. No one will be able to take them away by alien law. Tom breathed deeply. He had never wanted a family. He had never imagined standing in a cabin, deciding whether to bind himself to an alien widow and 2 hybrid infants. But when he looked at them, something warm cracked open inside him. Something human. Show me what to do, he said. Mira froze shocked. You. Accept. I'm not letting those kids die, he said simply. Mira closed her eyes for a moment. A tear slipped down her cheek. Then she lifted her hand. Place your hand over mine. He did. A sudden warmth flowed through their palms like touching sunlight. A faint blue glow wrapped around their fingers. It spread up their arms, surrounding both of them in gentle light. Tom felt his heart race, but not from fear. From something deeper, stronger. The air vibrated. The orb glowed brighter. And Mira whispered in her language soft, ancient words that carried weight Tom didn't understand, but felt. When the glow faded, she stepped back, trembling slightly. "It is done," she said. "You are now protector, by right. My mate-in-law, father in bond to the children." Tom's breath shook. "So, what changes now?" Mira looked at the window. "The hunters will sense the bond. They will come faster." Tom frowned. "That makes things worse, Mira." "No." Her eyes flashed bright silver. "It makes us stronger." Outside, the snow stopped falling. The forest became silent, too silent. Tom moved to the door slowly, opened it just an inch, saw 3 black silhouettes standing between the trees, tall, armored, and watching the cabin with glowing masks. The hunters had arrived. Mira whispered behind him, voice trembling with fear and fierce hope. Now they must face a bonded human. They won't expect that. Tom gripped his shotgun and stepped forward. "Good," he said. "Let's give them a surprise." The red lights in the trees vanished. Tom stood at the door, shotgun ready, scanning the forest again. But the shapes were gun-like ghosts in snow. He didn't trust the silence. It was the kind that came before bad things. He turned to Mira. "They're testing us, seeing if we panic." "They won't wait long," she said. "Once they confirm the bond is complete, they'll strike." Tom paced. "Why not before? Why not just take you and the kids?" Mira looked at the orb, now glowing softly on the cabin floor. The babies were resting, but their skin shimmered like they felt something coming. "They're not here for just me," she said. "They want the children. Their DNA holds the key to survival for 2 races. But once the Protector's bond is formed, killing you would break ancient law, even for bounty hunters. So now they need permission to act." Tom raised a brow. "From who?" Mira said nothing. That silence gave him his answer. "They'll break the law anyway," he muttered. "Because I'm human, I don't count to them." She nodded. Tom grabbed a crate, pulled it open. Inside were old supplies batteries, wires, an EMP spike he once used to fry rusted drones. He pulled it out and grinned. "Good news," he said. "I hate rules too." They worked fast. Mira helped seal the cabin windows. Tom wired the EMP trap to the front snow trail. He hid it under a thin sheet of ice. Any drone passing through would drop like a rock. Still, it wasn't enough. 3 armed hunters, Tom said. "Maybe more coming. I don't have real weapons." "This is a wooden cabin, Mira." She stepped closer, her eyes glowing faintly. "There is one more way," she said softly. "But it's dangerous. I'm listening." She opened a pouch on her side. Inside was a thin needle made of dark crystal. "What's that?" "A blood key," she said, "used only in life oath rituals. If we share blood now, your body will start changing. Your strength, your senses, they'll sharpen. You'll become stronger, faster, more like me." Tom stared at her. "You want to make me?" "What? Hephalian?" "Not fully. Just enough. Enough to survive what's coming." He hesitated, then looked at the children, then at her. "Do it." The moment the crystal needle pierced his arm, it burned. Not fire but heat, like lightning in his veins. Tom gritted his teeth as Mira took his hand and pressed hers against it. Their blood mixed, glowing briefly before vanishing into skin. His heartbeat slowed, then spiked. His vision sharpened. He could hear the hum of the orb. He could feel the exact number of footsteps crunching in the snow outside. 4. "No, 5. They're here," he said. Mira looked shocked. "You can hear them already." Tom nodded. "Let's end this." The first drone flew low toward the cabin. Tom pressed the EMP detonator. WHUMP. The drone sparked, dropped, and slammed into a tree. A voice shouted in the distance. Then came a laser-shot blue light tearing through the edge of the cabin wall. Wood exploded. Tom ducked and pulled Mira close. "Stay with the kids," he yelled. "Don't come out." He kicked open the back door and ran behind the cabin, shotgun ready. He didn't feel cold anymore. He felt alive. The first bounty hunter rushed from the tree's armor, black mask glowing red. He fired. Tom rolled behind a stump and fired back. Bam! The blast cracked the hunter's helmet. He dropped, screaming. Another charged. Tom grabbed a broken shovel and slammed it into the second's leg, snapping armor. The man fell hard. 2 more circled from the side flanking. Tom ran toward them instead. He didn't think. He moved. Like something inside him had taken over. His muscles knew what to do. His eyes saw weak points. His breath was calm. He dodged one attacker and slammed his elbow into the other's neck. Both fell. Only one remained bigger, slower. He pointed a rifle toward the cabin. Toward Mira. Tom shouted and sprinted. The hunter pulled the trigger, but Tom was already on him, slamming the rifle down and punching the mask until it cracked. The hunter screamed, then fell back, unconscious. Tom stood alone in the snow, heart pounding, breath rising in clouds. 5 hunters down. Back inside, Mira ran to him. "You're hurt." Tom looked down. His arm bled, but not badly. "I'm fine." Mira stared at him in awe. You fought like one of us," she whispered. Tom leaned against the doorframe. "No," he said with a tired grin. "I fought like a father." And in the corner, the orb glowed brighter than ever, safe, warm, and alive. The snow outside was red. Tom sat on the frozen steps, breathing hard. His shirt was torn. One eye was nearly swollen shut. But he was still standing. Inside the cabin, Mira moved fast. She checked his wounds, cleaned the cuts, and wrapped his shoulder. She didn't cry, but her hands trembled. "You should be dead," she whispered. Tom gave a tired smile. "I used to fix tractors. Now I punch aliens." But Mira didn't smile. "They weren't the real threat," she said. "They were scouts, paid hunters. The real danger hasn't come yet." Tom blinked. "What do you mean?" She walked to the orb. The 2 infants inside were fully awake now, watching their father with glowing eyes. "They'll send soldiers next," Mira said. "Not for capture, for removal. Removal, they'll erase us like we never existed." Tom stood slowly. "Then we give them a reason to remember." He didn't sleep that night. Neither did she. They built traps around the cabin tripwires, made from old fishing lines, fuel-soaked cloths near the tree line, metal spikes hidden under snowbanks. Tom activated the backup power coil enough for one hard shock if enemies breached the walls. The sky turned gray with dawn. Then it began. A low rumble. Tom stepped outside and saw them. 3 black dropships hovered above the trees. One landed near the frozen stream. Armored soldiers jumped out. He counted 12. Their leader wore red armor and held a large plasma rifle. His voice echoed through a speaker. "Surrender the hybrid subjects. The traitor female will be terminated. Human interference will be handled last." Tom spit blood into the snow. "Come get him." The first soldier stepped on a tripwire. A hidden blade flew out from the trees, slicing through his armor. He fell, screaming. The rest fired wildly, but they couldn't see Tom. He moved through the forest like a ghost. He took down 2 with a broken shovel, reinforced with sharp metal. Another one fell into a fire trap, flames licking at his armor. They pushed forward anyway closer to the cabin. Mira stood by the door, pulse gun in hand. She aimed at their commander and fired. Boom! The plasma bolt hit the ground near his feet. He dodged fast. One of the soldiers reached the Waltham, tackled him, and threw him through the window. Glass shattered. The children screamed. Tom rolled inside, bleeding again. "They're getting close," he gasped. Mira looked at the orb. It was flickering then stable. "They're scared," she said. "They can feel us falling." Tom grabbed his gun. "Not yet," he whispered. "We're still breathing." The final wave came fast. 6 soldiers, 1 commander, all at once. The cabin shook from blasts. Walls cracked. Fire spread. The roof was smoking. Tom and Mira stood back to back in the center, guarding the orb like a shield. "Last round," Tom said, cocking his shotgun. "Then we go down together," Mira replied. He glanced at her sweat on her brow, blood on her chin. "You're not just an alien," he said. "You're a warrior." She met his eyes. "And you're not just a man. You're my mate." The front door exploded. The commander stepped through, the smoke gun raised. "Move," he shouted. Tom stepped forward. "No." The commander aimed. Then the orb screamed. Not sound, energy. A blast of bright blue light erupted from it, pushing everyone back. The air shook. The floor cracked. The children hovered in the center, eyes glowing, hands raised. They were protecting their parents. The commander's rifle melted in his hands. He turned to run, but Mira shot him in the back. He dropped hard. The rest fled, screaming into the forest. Silence returned. Only the sound of the wind remained. Tom fell to his knees. Mira dropped beside him. The orb dimmed, and the babies floated gently down into her arms. "They saved us," Tom whispered. Mira held them close, tears streaming down her face. They awakened early. The bond made them stronger. "You made them stronger." He looked at the ruined cabin. Smoke, blood, broken walls. But inside, life, a new family. He looked at Mira, then at the children. "I'm staying," he said, "no matter who comes next." She leaned her forehead against his. "And I will never leave you." The cabin was broken. The roof sagged. The walls were scorched. Smoke still curled from the corners. Snow drifted gently through shattered windows. But inside was warm. Mira sat on the floor, rocking her babies gently. Their skin glowed softly now, stronger, calmer, safe. Tom leaned against the cracked doorframe. One arm in a sling, his face bruised but steady. He watched her from across the room, silent, tired but alive. "They're sleeping," she whispered. Tom nodded. "Good. They earned it." Mira looked down at the children. "They were never meant to fight. Not this young. But they protected us." "They're yours," Tom said, voice low. "Of course they did." Tom's breath caught. He walked slowly to her side and sat down. The floor creaked beneath them. He looked at the baby, so small, yet so powerful. "What happens now?" T asked. "More soldiers might come." Mira shook her head. "They won't." The energy burst from the children. It was recorded. It sent a warning to both alien and human satellites. If they come again, they'll risk war. Tom laughed dryly. "I guess that's one way to buy peace." She smiled. "Or a new beginning." The silence stretched between them. Then Mira spoke softly, barely a whisper. "In my world, we don't use the word husband like humans do. We use something older. A word that means more than love, more than duty. It means bonded for life through survival." Tom looked at her. She met his eyes and said it. Mate. The word wasn't heavy, it was real. Tom didn't flinch. He didn't back away. He simply nodded. "Then you're mine," he said, voice rough but steady. "And I'm yours." They rebuilt the cabin slowly. Day by day, piece by piece. Wood from fallen trees. Glass from the town, which stayed quiet now. No more notes. No more threats. The people had seen the flash of alien light in the sky and decided it was safer to pretend nothing happened. That was fine by Tom. He didn't need the world to understand. He had Mira. He had the children. He had purpose. He had family. One morning, the children stood for the first time. They were small, barely knee-high, but their balance was perfect. One had Mira's silver eyes. The other had Tom's dark, serious stare. Their laughter filled the cabin like music. Mira watched them with quiet joy. Then she turned to Tom. "They are not just hybrids," she said. "They are hope. For both our kinds." Tom nodded. "They'll grow strong. They already are." Weeks passed. Spring melted the snow. Green returned to the forest. Life bloomed again. But something deeper bloomed inside the cabin. Mira began planting small alien herbs near the back wall. Tom built a fence to protect them. The children played in the soft grass. Their hands glowed when they touched the plants, healing them, feeding them. They were learning. One night, Tom stood outside, staring at the stars. Mira joined him. "You still miss being alone?" she asked. He shook his head. "I never knew I was lonely. Not until you knocked." She smiled gently. "I almost died that night." He looked at her. "You didn't. You found home." They stood together in the cool night breeze. No noise, no war, just quiet peace. And then Mira whispered again, this time with pride, "Mate." Tom turned to her. He didn't speak. He just reached for her hand and held it tightly. Behind them, inside the cabin, two small voices giggled. A new future had already begun. Not born of power, not born of politics, but born of kindness.